Summary of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. Bruno is 9 years old and lives in Berlin, Germany, in 1943. One day, he comes home to find that Maria, his family's maid, is putting all of his things in boxes. Bruno's mum tells him that the family is moving away because his dad's new job is too far away. Adolf Hitler, who Bruno calls the Fury, came to dinner at Bruno's house the week before and gave Bruno's dad a raise. Father is in the German army as a commandant. He looks tough and strong, but he still shows that he cares about his kids. Bruno is sad to leave his best friends, grandparents, and the busy city of Berlin, but he has to go with his family because he has no other choice. At their Christmas party, Father fights with Bruno's grandmother, who used to be a singing star, right before they leave. Grandmother is very angry that Father would take a job with the Fury, but Father says that it is a great honor for him and for the fatherland. The family packs up everything they own and gets on a train to go to their new home. The only house in a very empty area is the new house on a hill. Bruno is sad to be away from Berlin and bored to be with only his sister Gretel, who is 12 and with whom he does not get along. The house is taken care of by their maid, Maria, and their butler, Lars. There are also some new workers that Bruno hasn't met before. Pavel, one of them, is an old, bent man who cleans up Bruno's cut knee after he falls off a tire swing. Pavel tells Bruno that he used to be a doctor, which makes Bruno wonder why a doctor is working as a waiter in his house. Bruno finds out that Pavel lives on the other side of a fence near their house. From Bruno's bedroom window, he can see thousands of people living in a sandy, fenced-in camp where they all wear striped pajamas. Bruno can't say their new home's name right, so he calls it out with Auschwitz. As Bruno gets used to living it out with, he starts to hate Lieutenant Codler, a soldier who likes Gretel and hangs out at their house. Codler is mean to Bruno and calls him little man. Everyone is shocked when Lieutenant Codler hits Pavel for spilling a glass of wine, but Mother likes him. Bruno has a teacher named Herlist who teaches him about history. Herlist tells Bruno that his father and family are at out with to make up for the great wrongs that have been done to him. Gretel becomes very interested in history and politics. She starts putting pushpins in maps on her wall to keep track of what's going on in the news. Bruno misses exploring as much as he did in Berlin, so one day he walks the length of the fence even though he isn't supposed to. On the other side of the fence, he meets a boy called Shmuel. Bruno has seen Shmuel's striped pajamas from his window. Shmuel is very thin and wears them. The two boys become friends, and Bruno starts going to Shmuel's house almost every day. Shmuel tells him that soldiers took him from his home in Krakow, Poland, to the camp. Bruno realizes that the camp is also in Poland after hearing this. Bruno has a hard time figuring out what life is like for Shmuel on the other side of the fence, but he does what Shmuel asks when he asks Bruno to bring him food. As his friendship with Shmuel grows, Bruno likes living it out with a lot more. One day, he is surprised to find Shmuel inside his house. Lieutenant Codler had brought him there to shine the family's small glasses, a job for someone with small hands. Bruno gives his friend a piece of chicken that was already cooked. Codler catches them and asks if Shmuel and Bruno are friends. Bruno is scared and says he doesn't know the boy. Later, Codler beats Shmuel. Later, Codler is moved away from Outwith because he tells Father that his own father ran away from Germany to Switzerland in 1938, when World War II broke out. Mother finally gets Father to agree to move the family back to Berlin. He agrees, but he himself will have to stay at Outwith because of his job and the Fury. Bruno is sad to say goodbye to Shmuel. When he goes to say goodbye, the boys decide that Bruno will wear striped pajamas the next day to explore Shmuel's side of the camp and help Shmuel look for his father, who he hasn't seen in a few days. The next day, Bruno puts on the pajamas that Shmuel gave him and crawls under the fence. Inside, he finds sick, skinny people being yelled at by troops. He wants to leave because he is scared, but Shmuel asks him to help him find his father. Even though they don't find anything, the troops round up prisoners for a march before Bruno can get back under the fence. The two boys agree because they are scared, and they end up in a dark room together. As the troops close the doors, they hold hands. Then it gets dark. No one ever hears from Bruno again. His mother and sister finally go back to Berlin, and the soldiers hate his father for the cruel orders he gives them. Bruno's clothes and boots are found where he left them outside the fence when he changed, and one day Bruno's father figures out what must have happened to his son. He falls down from the weight of what he has just learned, and a few months later, other troops come to the camp. Father gives in to all of their requests because, after seeing what happened to his son, he no longer cares what happens to him.
About the author. Boyne was interested in big books like The Count of Monte Cristo and Treasure Island from a young age. He went to Trinity College in Dublin to study English literature and got a master's degree in creative writing from the University of East Anglia. He won the prestigious Curtis Brown Prize for his work while he was there. Boyne started out as a short story writer. His story Entertainment Jar was one of the stories that were chosen for the Hennessy Literary Award. Boyne wrote his first book, The Thief of Time, in 2000. Before that, he had written about 70 short stories. He kept writing books for adults until 2004. In 2006, he wrote a book for kids called The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Since then, he has written 9 books for adults and 5 books for kids.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.